Hi everyone, welcome to Nature at Home. My name is Linda and today we're going to do a craft project. We're actually going to make nature note cards. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I have that's going to help me create these really awesome cards. So the first thing I have, of course, is paper. This is an actual note card you can purchase. It's a pretty heavy cardstock type paper. Comes with the fold already in. We've got the natural color. The problem with natural color is some of the things that you're going to use may not show up on that. So I'm also going to make some with some plain white copy paper. This happens to be the legal size. You can use regular copy paper if you want. It'll just make a smaller card. So the first thing you're going to want to do is fold your card so you know that you have the margins that you want. So I'm going to take a piece of my white paper and I'm going to fold that. And you can see it'll make a fairly large card. We could also fold it a second time so we can make a smaller version. So I'm going to actually do that. So I have this really nice size card you can make for, let's see, what's coming up. You could make something for maybe Mother's Day or Happy Birthday. So the reason we're calling them nature note cards is because we're going to use some natural objects to print onto these cards. So a couple of the things that I have for printing. I have some feathers. I'm going to be using some feathers. I have some leaves from some plants. So this is lettuce and this is from our wandering Jew plant. I have some rubber replicas of footprints. I've got myself a raccoon and I've got a deer and I've got a snowshoe hare. We can use those. I also have a rubber fish. I might use that one. If you don't have any of these objects, you can go outside. You can pick some grasses. You can pick some clovers. The leaves aren't on the trees yet, but you could use the needles off of pine trees. So all of that stuff will actually work really well for printing. And what we need to print with is something like ink. So this happens to be a washable ink pad. I've got several colors. I've got purple, pink, I've got some dark blue, and I've got some orange. I'm also going to try some with some tempera paint, washable finger paints from that we use for our turtle painting classes. So the easiest thing to do if you're going to be using paint is when I'm going to put a little bit, just a little squeeze on a paper plate, maybe. So I've got some on a paper plate, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to spread this around because I don't want really thick paint for making my prints with. So I spread it pretty thin, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these leaves and I'm going to set it right on top. I'm going to press that down into the paint. So I'm going to make sure it's pressed really good, make sure I get all the edges. Once I've pressed it down, I'm going to peel it off, and you're going to have a really painted leaf right there. And then that's going to get set onto your paper wherever you want to paint it. And then you're going to press that down. You don't need any special instruments to press it down. Just use your fingers. Once you've pressed it down, you're going to peel it off, and you'll get this really cool leaf shape. So one of the things you can do is you can use the leaves shapes to make something else. So I'm going to do a couple more of these with this shaped leaf because I am actually going to see if I can make something you all might recognize. So I'm actually going to try to make a flower out of this one. If you can tell, I've got the leaf shapes I'm making that look like petals. once you get your project stamped, you can embellish them. That means add things to it with things like markers. So I'm going to add some stuff with the markers. I'm going to show you how to do the feathers. So feathers are a little trickier to work with. Because they're so fine, they're so fluffy. So I'm going to see if I can do a little bit with ink. You are going to get a little bit of stuff on your fingers, so don't worry about that. So I'm going to press in the feather into the ink. So it's in the ink pad. Pressing it all around. Then I'm going to set that onto my paper, and I'm going to make a feather print. I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but there's my feather print. Not as easy to see as the leaf print. I'm going to actually try it again, and I'm going to use the paint and see how that works. So I'm going to use the same feather, and I'm going to press it onto the paint. You just got to remember to use different fingers when you're pressing them onto your works, onto your actual card, because if you use the same fingers, you're going to just get lots of blobs. So, oh, that actually worked pretty well using the finger paints. So, came out pretty good. So you can use your different prints to make designs. You can, like I was designing a flower, you could design a scene. For example, you could make maybe an underwater scene, maybe a farm scene, maybe a scene you see when you look out the window. So I'm going to show you a couple more things. I've got my my fish over here. So printing with the fish is a little bit different than printing with something flat because they have a curved surface. So I'm actually going to paint the fish first. So I'm going to take my paint. I'm going to paint all over my fish. And I'm going to set it, I'm actually going to take the paper and set it on top of the fish instead of the other way around. So I'm going to put it down like this. I'm actually pressing the entire fish down. And when I peel it off, I've got this really cool fish print. So I could make this an underwater scene. So if I took my markers, let's see, I've got a green one here, so I can make the edge of the water. And then over top of the water, maybe I could make, there's my grass line. Maybe I could make something like sunshines and things on the top. So we got our fish, so that would make a cool card. Now, if you don't have things like this at home, maybe you've got some of those really cool foam stickers. Foam stickers actually make really good stamps. So I have a duck-shaped one right here. And what I'm going to do is this one happens to have sticky backing. So I'm going to peel the sticky backing off. I'm going to glue it or stick it right onto a bottle cap. And I can make my own stamp that way. So I'm going to press that down into the paint. Make sure I get paint all over my little guy here. And I could put maybe some, so they make really cool stamps. So here's my duck. I've also got chickens and flowers. So I can make all kinds of things with these stamps. And you can do whatever colors you want. Animal tracks. So we happen to have all these really cool animal tracks. They work the same way. You're going to take an animal foot, put it in your ink. These work better with the ink. So I'm going to press it down really, really good all over the ink pad. Then I'm going to press this down onto the paper. So footprints don't come out really good because when you see a footprint out in the woods, you're not going to see the entire footprint. You're just going to see parts of it depending on if it's muddy or snowy, if the ground is dry. So they're natural, but they may not come out the way that you want them to. Once you've finished your note card, why don't you send it to somebody who might be lonely or needs a little surprise? So I want to send thanks to the New York State Power Authority for funding our center and its programs. Don't forget to check out our downloads and videos on Facebook. And also, don't forget to check out our Facebook page for daily downloads and videos. We also have a list of upcoming videos. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you guys tomorrow for a new video. Have a great afternoon.